Here we have a set of forebs of Scotch beef, and traditionally we know it as served on the bone, larder trimmed where the end of the bones have been cleaned and cooked in one piece, ready for carving. An alternative is to have the rib roast as a boneless roast, which means we're going to take out two lots of bones. We have our ribs and we have our backbone and vertebrae. There's two ways of boning out meat. One is to take those bones out individually, which is time consuming and a little bit more care has to be taken so we don't damage the meat underlying the bone. Or the second term is to sheet bone, which means we're going to take all the bones out in one sheet. And to do that, we just run the knife at the back of the ribs, keeping the cutting edge close to the bone, working our way round so as not to put any cuts into the main muscle. So it's keeping close to the back of that bone. So that's where we've cleared the back of the ribs. And now we want to continue around. So we can come this way, or we can actually come from the top here and work our way back down to that cut. So I'm after a nice clean line here at the end of the backbone. And as we came down the ribs close to the bone, we do the same here on the underside of the rib. And then that comes off in one big sheet. But it has left us a solid boneless rib with no deep incisions or slash marks. On the rib itself now, boneless, we need to just trim this up lightly. First of all, the gristle that runs along the back. It's a thick elastic substance. It's not edible, so it's important that we remove that from the joint. So out that piece of elastic gristle. Checking for excess fat. Nice and tidy there. What I'm looking at now is the wedge of fat here and the chain muscle that runs along the top of the eye. So this chain here, I'm just going to put my knife along that seam. Again, taking care not to cut into the eye muscle itself. So a little bit of pulling can actually separate that seam. And then I want to take that chain muscle and associated fat out. So it's virtually left me the eye muscle and the cap. Finally, just checking along here if we're happy with the fat level and any silver gristles. They will be removed if required. Once that is done, final check. Now this can be tied nicely with butcher's twine into a nice uniform cylindrical joint. So there is our boneless rib roast with the cap on, ready prepared for the oven.